In Durban, Ranking Member Graham and members of the committee, my name is Kelley Robinson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm proud to serve as president of the Human Rights Campaign, our nation's largest civil rights organization working to achieve full equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people across the country. Thank you for inviting me to submit testimony at this important hearing. On behalf of HRC's more than 3 million members and supporters, I've come here today with a single message. The LGBTQ plus people of the United States are living in a state of emergency.
All right, guys, so there's a whole lot of congressional hearings going on today, and the one that I want to talk about in this video is the congressional hearing on LGBTQ civil rights in this country. Okay, again, I don't know why they're having this hearing, because there's no civil right that LGBTQ people don't already have in this country. Okay, and none of their rights are being taken away. But regardless, they're having this hearing. Okay, because allegedly, according to Kelley Robinson, who is the woke president of the Human Rights Campaign, they're under attack. Right, they're under attack every single day.
On behalf of HRC's more than 3 million members and supporters, I've come here today with a single message. The LGBTQ plus people of the United States are living in a state of emergency. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a dramatization. More than 525 anti-LGBTQ plus bills have been introduced this year in the states. More than 220 of those bills target the transgender community, many targeting children, transgender children. And more than 75 of those anti-LGBTQ plus bills have now become law. We're sitting here 7 years since the Pulse nightclub shooting, where 49 lives were stolen, and just over 7 months since the shooting at Club Q that stole 5 lives from the community. This uptick of violence is real, and you've said it already. 1 in 5 of every hate crime is motivated by anti-LGBTQ plus bias. The other reality that we know is true is that these bad bills targeting the community are often accompanied by campaigns of misinformation and lies that sow fear and transphobia in communities. The very fact that we can't identify Leah Thomas as a transgender woman is playing into the fear and anxiety that's motivating these hate crimes. I talk to people every day. I talk to pediatricians that are being escorted to their cars by armed guards because of the bomb threats that they're receiving. I talk to drag queens who are being confronted by Proud Boys with AR-15s outside of drag queen story hours. This epidemic is real and requires action, both legislative and also cultural, in stopping this ability for people to just spout lies about our community.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. Now, if you are opposed to any of those bills, okay, if you say that, hey, you know what, this is not fair. We need to protect women in women's sports. We don't need kids castrating themselves, okay? We don't need that, okay? This is something that we probably shouldn't be doing in our society. You're going to get called some type of bigot, just like Riley Gaines laid out during her congressional testimony.
This has been your experience over and over and over. You're told as a woman, just shut up, don't say anything. What's that like?
That is continually happening. And if we do speak up, you're immediately labeled as some name. They will call you everything under the sun, whether it's transphobic, homophobic, racist, white supremacist, domestic terrorist. They will throw them all at you in hopes to deter you, in hopes to silence you. Leah Thomas's teammates, they were forced every single week to go to mandatory LGBTQ education meetings to learn about how just by being cisgender, they were oppressing Leah Thomas. They were told that they are not allowed to take a stance because their school has already taken their stance for them. They were told that you will never get a job, you will never get into grad school, you will lose your friends, you will lose your scholarship and playing time if you speak out. They told these girls that if you do speak out, and any harm whatsoever comes towards Thomas's way, whether that's through social media, whether that's physical, mental, emotional harm, then you are solely responsible, and you could be responsible for a potential death. And you don't want that, do you? Of course not. Who would ever want to be responsible in a potential death? But that is the emotional blackmail that is plaguing this country, especially in universities.
Facts. Facts. I mean, that's exactly what happens, okay? If you disagree with the woke extremists, then you're labeled some type of bigot, okay? You're told that you're doing harm to people and that, you know, you're costing people their lives, that basically you are a murderer. You're responsible for people deleting themselves, right? Which is just, it's just blackmail, right? They're trying to blackmail you into going along with the far left woke agenda. Meanwhile, Kelley Robinson, who is the president of the Human Rights Campaign, she can't even define the difference between men and women.
All right, let's go back to the biology. Male, female, boy, girl, okay? Biologically, do males have an advantage over females biologically in sports?
Again, I'm not a physician and I can't speak to that.
What's your real world experience?
It depends. I mean, there are some people who are born male that I'm faster than if I were to sprint against them, and some that I'm not. Some males that are taller than some women, and some that are shorter.
You don't believe that a biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think. How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience, Ben? Male, female?
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well. In terms of accolades and in terms of national ranking, I was a much better swimmer than him. He could kick my butt any day of the week without trying.
Okay. I just think, Ms. Robinson, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. I think you lose a lot of credibility when you don't concede that a biological male has physical advantages over a biological female. I mean, I just think that's a proven fact, and you really hurt your credibility. I understand you want the world to be a better place. I do too, and I don't think people ought to be discriminated against because of an immutable characteristic. I don't. And I think that I think everybody ought to be free to be themselves. And what you do in your bedroom or what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult is nobody's business. But if what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult, if I decide I want to tell somebody's child about it, then other people have rights too. And I think parents have rights. And I think biological females have rights to be able to compete fairly in sport, in sports. So I really think you hurt your credibility when you refuse to acknowledge that biological males have an advantage over biological females. It kind of makes me wonder about all your testimony. Thank you,
Senator
Mr. Chairman.
Kennedy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that there is not a definitive advantage in all cases. Sir, I don't know if you believe that you could beat Serena Williams in tennis, but I probably think that that's not the case. There are not all cases where all men are physically superior to all women. And at the end of the day, in this conversation, we're not talking about that. We're talking about trans women who are, in fact, women, who deserve to play in a gender that matches their sports, who deserve all the benefits that Ms. Gaines is talking about. And as a cisgender black woman, I can say definitively that my womanhood is not threatened by a transgender person asserting hers as well.
Yeah, that person's an idiot, right? That person is an absolute idiot, okay? Because they're trying to play this semantics game where she's saying, well, I don't think that all men, okay, including 60, 70-year-old men who clearly age has caught up with them, could beat somebody like Serena Williams in tennis, okay? And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, when you're talking about very old men who've gotten so old that they can't move because of their age, yeah, they're not going to beat somebody like Serena Williams, but a vast majority of men that are of healthy age do have a physical advantage, a significant physical advantage. That's important. A significant genetically ordained physical advantage over somebody like Serena Williams. And with the proper training, okay, they probably could end up beating Serena Williams in tennis without being nearly as, I guess, decorated, right, or accomplished against people of the same sex as somebody like Serena Williams. In fact, Serena Williams actually, again, lost to a 200 and some ranked male back when I think she was a teenager. So when she was in her physical prime, right? This was like 1998. She was in her physical prime. She lost to a man, and it wasn't even close. Okay. In fact, the guy that she played was Karsten Brost. Okay. And he was ranked 203 at the time in the world. He beat Serena 6-1 and beat Venus 6-2, right? So he basically whooped both of them, whooped both of the Williams sisters. And she also went on late night television and admitted that she would get embarrassed if she played Andy Murray, because men and women's tennis is different, because men are physically stronger and faster than women. Therefore, it's basically a whole different game. Take a look.
Well, who would it be?
Well, I don't know. Let's say you would be the.
I was hoping you'd say.
All right, feminine side, and me.
And you. Oh. Well, actually, it's funny because Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0, and 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true.
Honestly, really.
It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
I'm with you when it comes to tennis. I only want to play girls. Yeah. We got that going on.
Yeah. So apparently the woke activist hasn't even listened to Serena or asked Serena on her opinion about whether or not she can actually compete with men's tennis players, because she knows, right? Serena Williams knows, yeah, if I played men, I would get destroyed, right? I'm not physically equipped to compete with men in this sport. It is what it is. That's not a bad thing. That's just acknowledging reality, the reality of biological sex, which is what this woke activist does not want to acknowledge, right? She doesn't want to acknowledge reality, okay? And that's why she ended up getting destroyed by Riley Gaines, because this woman didn't even know that Serena admitted that, yeah, men would dominate me, right? Men tennis players would dominate me. I don't even want to get embarrassed, so I'm not even going to play, right? Again, it's just funny how that works. Now, again, you know, if the average man tried to play Serena, if they were untrained, then yeah, Serena would probably defeat that man, because she has more training and more skill, okay? But I feel like if the average man actually trained with a professional, at the very least, they could probably be competitive with Serena, okay? They might not necessarily outright beat her, but you got to understand, Serena Williams is the genetically elite of the genetically elite, okay? There's probably high school males that could beat Serena, right? And again, Serena is genetically elite out of all women in the world, right? But again, you could take an average male and you could probably train him up and be competitive with her. I mean, that's how big the gap is. And this is why men and women's sports need to be separated. This is why you can't have biological men competing against biological women in sports and vice versa. You can't have it, because the difference physically on average is just too much. It's too much for biological women to overcome. It's not fair and it's not safe, okay? It's not safe. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.